Two, two and a half, one.
Grand Rising. This is the Straight Talk Morning Show on the Straight Talk Network. I'm Andre Hill, your host, and we have a full staff panel here today. We're down in Fort Myers, Florida, and we're working with the Living Promise housing program. So if you're in the Fort Myers area or anywhere in Central Florida and you're looking for some housing, you need to get in touch with Bernstein Griffin. She's got a layout. She can get you in a room. If you're going through a transition, she can put you up. And just give her a call at 239-328-2711. And that's Living Promise. Ask for Miss Bernstein, and she will get you somewhere to live. Hey, man. And we're going to be doing this all over the country. You know, this is what we call transitional housing that allows you to go through an orientation process before you can move on our tribal land. So this is why we are promoting this transition housing program. So we have a full panel today. We have Mama Kelly up in Atlanta. How you doing this morning, Mama Kelly?
I'm doing very well. I'm doing very well. It's been a very busy week, but I have survived. I have survived.
All right.
Well, you a beautiful woman and a warrior, and I told you that's a woman after my heart. We're gonna send all the sisters, every black man, every Aboriginal man in this country. If you want to get your woman properly educated, you need to refer to Mama Kali. And you can reach her through our website at uaarnation.org, or she'll give you some information. But we need to reset a lot of our women because a lot of them are getting laid off from these jobs and they are confused. And the Willie Lynch letter done messed their brains up for 400 years. So Mama Kelly will get your woman straightened out, get her on the path of understanding how to come back into the bosom of our tribal community. Also, we have the up in Detroit, the chairman Terrence Lake of the tribal organization, one of the biggest tribal organizations on the planet. How you doing, Chairman?
Grand Rising, everyone. I'm doing fine. It's a beautiful day up here in Detroit, too. Like spring is definitely in the air. Temperature ain't where it should be, but it's beautiful, sunny. Thank you.
All right. Of course, we have my son, our engineer and our legal tribal attorney, Andre Hill Jr. What's going on, man?
Everything is all good. I'm just looking at the boards, making sure all the bells and whistles is whistling and belling.
All right. Yeah, some beautiful weather down here in Fort Myers. So we got some hot topics today, as usual. And, once again, this show is about educating our people, giving our people another option other than the one option that we have. We have two options. You can join our tribal nation, join this collective where we will start developing the leverage factor. Right now, we have no leverage. All we're doing is spending money and putting it back into everybody else's culture but ours. We control no banks, no corporations, no mass production centers, and the only few that may have one, they might have to compromise their soul. And at some point, these demons gonna call it with their calling card. But anyway, let us get on with this topic here. So Joy Reid basically gave the whole list of everything that the MAGA organization basically wanted with the DEI program, the SBA program for contracts, the gay agenda. She listed at least 15 things. And then she ended it with, well, why are they still mad? They got everything that they asked for through Trump. Why are they still mad? And so before we move on with that, I want to get started with Mama Kelly has a good view of opinion of why these structures, these cultures after getting everything they want, why they still mad? Mama Kelly, what is your take on that?
Uh, I had stepped away for a moment to get my coffee.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't hear the entire question.
So I went through some of the partial list of what Joy Reid gave in her interview of all the things that the MAGA organization want. White supremacy, they making America great again by instituting all of these rules to basically try to block our people out of the equation. And one of the things she indicated was that they're still mad. They still ain't comfortable with the fact that they've gained all of these things through the Trump administration, and they still frowning up and upset with our folks. What do you think? What's leading to that?
It's basic jealousy. It really is. The thing is you have penal colony people who inhabited this land. Of course, that comes in around the 1800s, and basically, what they were was slave catchers. Okay, and then when the Industrial Revolution came through, some of them got these big factory jobs, and they were comfortable. They lived the life. Okay, so yes, they're still angry because they don't want us to have anything. But whatever that was, Joy Reid, she talked about everything that the so-called Civil Rights Act gave us. Is that what we're talking about?
Well,
That it's all been destroyed now?
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Okay.
everything. Black history dismantled. She gave a long list of all of the items that they were promoting or advocating to make America great again. And that list, it was extensive, but the bottom line was why they're still mad. They got everything they asked for through this Republican organization.
Uh-huh, yeah. But see, all of that, how did it affect us? These so-called things that we were supposed to benefit from, they didn't benefit us except a very small, tiny a minority of us who were, they were inducted into some secret society and given special crumbs from the table. And that's what we find in our all of our congressional people, at the city, state, and federal level. They don't work for us. Every one of them works for Israel. And I just saw a list yesterday. I should have copied it of all of the people who were taking money from Venezuela. Maduro, is it Maduro?
Yeah.
Venezuela.
Yes.
Yeah, all that were taking bribes from him so that he could be a part of smuggling this drugs. And most of them were Democrats. In fact, all of them were Democrats.
Wow.
Most of them were Negroes. Your Congressional Black Caucus.
Mm.
Okay? They are the ones who were taking the bribes from Maduro to keep the drug trafficking going. All
Wow.
right. Now, Europeans, especially those squatters who are here in America, and they are squatters because they never honored any treaty they made with us. Not one. They never honored, and even if there was an X put there by a man, then the transfer of land does not go through because the women in our culture decide on what happens to the land. So the men had no right, even if it was an ex they put there. Okay. So we have to realize that in this equation and bringing it up to date, we have to realize that people who work for the corporations, like uh, what's the lady's name you just said? The woman.
Joy Reid.
Yeah, Joy Reid. I never watched her, so I couldn't take it. I never watched her.
I understand.
But I saw her from time to time. I would go to people's houses and they got MSNBC on a great big screen all day long. You can't say nothing because that's who they are. I mean, I'm in your house, I'm your guest. I'm not going to tell you to change, But in, of course, comes conversation, not focusing on that. I'll let them know that they lying right there. Straight up. Did they open their mouth? Yeah, they're lying. Okay. So, but there's more things that we have to discuss other than what Joy Reid and all of them Negroes who were up there pushing the Democratic agenda. Not that there's any difference, okay, but all of them on the Democratic side, except one or two, look, they're deep state operatives. Israel first, every one of them. Ask them. Okay.
Okay, so hey, Chairman, with the culture up in Detroit, we've always known that the racism up north was different from the racism down south. They're kind of laid back with it, but it's still there. So, what's the attitude towards the MAGA participants from in the northern area?
Well, what I'm hearing, they're really settled, the attitude. They're not, talking about it as much, just like with the preachers that went to Israel, the black preachers. Now, a friend of mine from Canada, he was a part of that group, but he's not talking about it, not saying anything, and it's just a hush hush situation. But as far as a lot of the Democrats, they're worried because they don't know what's really going on. They're being quiet. They're not benefiting from it financially. And they're starting to complain because of Trump's wealth is growing, where he's a billionaire now and his family's got their hands in the pot too. So it's a real touchy situation, very touchy. Yeah, just, you got to be in with the in crowd to really know what's going on, but they're not happy, because my wife was talking with a person the other day at work, and she said, well, I like Trump 50%, where before she was 100%, but she's saying 50%. So, there's disgruntled employees, they don't like what's going on, and a lot of them are getting laid off because of Trump's tactics, so it's interesting, but time will tell. I just want to see him put a orange jumpsuit on, and I'll be happy. I can rest in my laurels then.
Uh, well, I look at the situation, and I'm looking at it from a metaphysical perspective. I know who the real culprits are behind white supremacy. And the United States government has been suppressing the fact that these entities actually exist. And and all of the wars and everything that's going on is being stimulated by this other culture, these civilized beings that they profit off our death and wars. So
Yes.
we have to bring it all in perspective and accept the fact and the reality that all of the people that bought into the Trump movement, they bought into it because it maintained their privileges. I was watching a video this morning about this elderly Caucasian man He said, "Hey, we love these privileges, that melanated people don't have, and we don't want to give that up, And so you got this confusion going on, and but we're bringing this to the front to demonstrate as to what's going on in this country and why the melanated people are definitely going to have to get off the fence and stop, worshiping and hoping that the white man is going to be their savior, and also make sure that they keep getting their checks once a month. And what people don't understand is this system is coming apart. Go ahead, Mama Callie.
Yeah, we have to very seriously look at what first of all, how they laid it out. Okay, there, what the deep state, because they're in panic mode now, and we have to pay attention to this. We can't ignore it. Okay, no, they are in panic now because basically they've lost. Okay, the United States had expended most of their weaponry over there in Ukraine. Okay, and so what they had and what Israel had, they've already exhausted. They're not going to tell you this, and they're lying about the supremacy in Iran. They begging now. They have to call Putin in to let him go and help to negotiate a way to get out of this without actually, looking bad, because America has been defeated. The weaponry that was used against Tel Aviv doesn't exist anymore, nor does Haifa. In other words, what was done to Gaza has now been done to Tel Aviv or to Israel.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, what they want more than anything else is a massive blood sacrifice. And who are they after? They're after our young men and women. What did the Likud party of Israel say just, I don't know how long ago it was because it keeps coming through my feed. They said that the only problem with America, or the biggest problem with America, was young Black boys. All right. So, in order to go out flaming the Satanists, which is the deep state, which is now on its knees because it's about to be wiped out, the only thing they want to do is get that final blood sacrifice. And who do they want to sacrifice? The owners of this land, us, the American Aboriginals, the so-called Black Indians. That's what they want to sacrifice. Kill two birds with one stone, blood sacrifice, get rid of the young Blacks.
Absolutely. So, hey, Andre, can you play that video with the young lady talking about why they're targeting Black men? And as he bring that video up, there's there's so much going on, and
Yes, it is.
I'm constantly watching the news of all that they got the Houthis joining in on this thing now, and these people, here we're gonna listen to this video. Go ahead, man. It look like it. Is it stuck?
There it goes, but no sound.
You have no sound, man.
No speaker.
Okay. All right. So,
Mhm.
We do that. I had to unmute myself. My bad.
Okay.
Hold on.
okay.
Hold on.
Go ahead and get it a play.
Still muted. Still muted.
Still muted?
Yep.
The other one, he's got two
Yeah,
things
two
going.
screens.
You got two screens. One of them is muted.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, you're not getting any sound out of it. So basically, this is a very short video that explains, and I like hearing from the various generations on why, how they feel, and are you scratching it?
Nah. I had to come inside and try it from in there.
Okay,
So I'll just
so
tell you about first.
yeah, so we in the older generation, we're familiar with the Willie Lynch letter, and in that Willie Lynch letter, it basically it targeted the black woman in the particular slave camps, and so it that was part of the divide and conquer of a culture, and the program was to make the black woman what we call an independent contractor, and her reliance would be on the slave master. They would put her in a position where if the slave men got in trouble, he would have to petition the slave master through his woman. And it was a horrible agenda of how to divide a culture. But right now, what we want to do is focus in on specifically how the black man was targeted and how it had an effect on him. Mama Kelly, you've taken a position of understanding that this is a war type situation that we're in right now. And, we've talked about how our women have been compromised. The Willie Lynch letter talks about, how they chopped off the feet of the slave men, how they would tie to find the biggest and the strongest slave in the camp, tie a chain to each ankle and each arm, and then use forces to rip them apart. These sort of tactics have been used for 400 years. And so we're trying bringing it all into focus right now. Uh, you just mentioned that the Israeli or the Jewish Council said that the biggest problem on the planet right now are black men.
Right. What we have to do now, right now, is to first of all know what we're dealing with. I think that a lot of us are not aware what's coming up, is more and more people going back to church. Okay. And just like, Chairman said, hey, they went over to Israel and came back mute. They ain't said nothing. Why? Because they got paid to shut up. And when the time, in fact, they might have been implanted so that they are now sleeper cells. Look, Uh, and when they are awakened, they may be the ones who actually put that last dart into the heart of our people. Okay? So they may be the sleeper cells, but I want to say to you right now what I was hearing from a brother, Bdell. I don't know if you ever watched Bdell 1014, but he deals with metaphysics, science, metaphysics, philosophy, Bible. The brother is brilliant, okay? And I always check him out. What Bdell is saying that is that, first of all, we understand that they are after us. And on this ad that they are drafting our people, they have the number 42. That is the gematria for going after Black, so-called Black people. Okay? On that ad, so this is one thing that Bidell, I recommend that you watch. I think it's his latest video. But the thing about it is that what they're looking for ultimately, they say that it is a oil. It's about oil. Well, what they're doing is manufacturing a energy shortage so that they can have another energy lockdown. And that is what it's all about right now, is creating this situation where there's an energy lockdown, get us all scared because fear is what actually feeds these entities that are in charge, as you indicated. And one of the last things, I've heard this 2 or 3 times over the past 2 or 3 days, there is the 10th Stargate in Iran, and
Yes.
that is what they want to access.
Yes.
No, you heard it, Chairman?
I heard a little bit about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
you're right.
ultimately, they opened a Stargate there in Iran too. I mean, no, Iraq.
Iraq.
They were after that Stargate. Okay. Now it's one in Iran that they want to get to, but they want to, in order to control us, they have created an energy shortage, okay, and put us in this lockdown fear so that they'll have more of our emotions to actually feed off of. Let us understand that,
Yes.
okay?
Okay, you can. That video is not very. Okay, so the video that we want to play, and none of them are working.
No, they're gonna work, but it's not.
Yeah. Okay, so we
He's
had a.
muted. He's muted on both of I don't know if that's what the problem is.
Yeah, well, he tried to operate it from the car. This happens when you go remote on other sites, with the engineering. So the point we're getting at, in terms of our people, the Aboriginal people, particularly, especially here in America, our young men are being targeted without a question. Our women right now are being subjected to abductions, body parts, breeding facilities, and that sort of thing. We talked about it in the previous show. So the option of what we have right now as a people is to come together and reclaim our tribal communities. And so we have tribes all over the United States, and we are gathering, we are coming together. But without a collective mindset that, as we've spoken before, of competing with each other, we got to get out of that mode, of the competition. These people, in terms of what they're doing in Africa, my understanding is that as they approach these different Muslim religions and these different Muslim nations, they want them to join this sacrifice of melanated people all over the world. And this is what they're getting in position. This is why they're positioning in Africa. The influence over all the African leaders, is constantly being pushed. So to put them in a position, I'm going to say, of an invasion, an all-out invasion. And all of those African nations that are still, they have leaders that are in place that are still beholden to the so-called G7 of the Europeans that met in 1890 to discuss how they was going to divide Africa up. This is the final play. This is the final conflict, is to go in and set up systems to exterminate the original melanated people all over the planet. So that's why it's very critical for us to move in the direction of, here in America, it is critical now that you set up, take yourself out of this economic system, stop investing money in the stock market. You might as well go to a casino and gamble on one of the one-armed bandits. And those percentages are very minute in terms of what your chances of winning. So take your whatever funds that you have right now, invest into your tribal nation, invest in the groups like what we have. And we're not the only group that's going to be filing petitions in the various court systems. Not that they're going to respect them, but we can start serving notice that we're coming together. We're no longer divided, and we're no longer going to be conquered. One of the videos that I wanted to play was about the Titanic. And I watched the movie The Titanic when it came out with Leo, what's his name, and there were no prominent Black people on that particular movie.
You wanna hold the phone in front of the camera and play the video?
Yeah, see if you can do that. And there were no Black folks, and it was all whitewashed to the point where, okay, some Caucasian people were sailing on the Titanic in his maiden voyage. But as we regained some true history, there was some powerful melanated noble people on there. You familiar with that, Mama Calvin?
Oh, yes, yes. I can't name them, but I do know that there were several. You have to remember that the first plantations that were created here in America after 1492, most of them were European people, very heavily melanated Europeans. Okay, they were not pale faces. The pale faces really didn't show up in numbers until the end of the 1890s, or 1880s, around in that time. But the original ones were heavily melanated conquistadors who had been, run out of Portugal and Spain, and had converted, so-called converted, to Catholicism and working for the crown. Okay, and then then there were those Huguenots, and most of us don't know that. What's the guy's name? He was with the NAACP here in Atlanta, and I know him very well. I can't think of his name right now, but he was a Huguenot. Oh goodness, why can't I remember his name? But he was a Huguenot. He was not from here, but he ended up going back after they disgraced him. right here in Atlanta. Oh, hold
Not
on.
young, is it?
No, not young. I'm talking about earlier, 1900s.
Oh,
Well, anyway, you know, what I was trying to, oh goodness, I got confused. But nevertheless, you know, we must come together as far as what's happening with Africa right now. What is happening in Nigeria is one of the saddest things that I have heard about, because there, unless there has been a change in the last few months, their people have totally, the parliament has sold them out by selling all of their hospitals to Bill Gates, and not allowing any Nigerians to work in those hospitals. Are you aware of that? One
Yeah.
time I told you I was going to send you that video where I'll have to send it to you, where one of the doctors who was present at the time that this happened, he told everybody about it, and I did save that video. But you know, now you have to know too that Nigeria is a target because of the oil. Okay. And they have that same kind of so-called sweet oil that Iran has. Okay, where you can almost take it out of the ground and put it into your car, you know, your fuel tank. That they call that sweet oil. So I mean, as far as what's happening with you know, Africa, I can't say that we are in better shape. I cannot say that, simply because our minds are not focused on survival. You know, we're in that hunter-gatherer mode of let's take care of today, and then if we move on to another place, I don't know, maybe that's good. We have survived so far with that philosophy. So at this point, what do we need to do? We know unity is good, but we also know about the power of those divisions that have been in place for at least 400 years, 500 years. And as far as fighting is concerned, we haven't just started fighting. We were fighting 500 years ago. This is an ongoing war, and we are prisoners of war, even today.
So, Mama Callie, we got that video in position. He's going to play that right quick. Go ahead.
Great, great. Mhm. Mhm.
I've got about 4 more minutes and I'm going to have to leave.
Okay. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Look forward to next week.
Okay. Okay, so the point of the video is, you know, we bring in the receipts. These people control a large wealth, a lot, and it was planned to sink the Titanic, to kill off those people, and then bring in a banking system
Right.
that is now in place in what we refer to as the banking cartel. And so we just wanted to give you an understanding, and that's what this show is doing, is basically demonstrating how we don't have a chance operating in their system. It is imperative that we separate and create our own economic system. Chairman, I know you're getting ready to take off. You want to give us a report on Three Eye Atlas before you leave out?
Well, right now with Three Eye Atlas, they're really coming together on a lot of the data that they've gotten from its trajectory passing through our system. It's gone past Jupiter. They thought that it might have made a turn and came back around and tried to get closer to Earth, But a lot of things that I'm hearing that AI is basically taking over and putting a bunch of lies out there because
Mhm.
they had made an observation that they said Three Eye Atlas broke up into three parts and it didn't lose its momentum. It kept going at the same rate of pace that it was going. Now it's like driving a car. You driving 100 miles an hour, you roll the window down and you throw some paper out. Is that paper going to stay with the car but not touch and be attached to it and go along with it? See, this is what they're saying, that whatever came from Three Eye Atlas, it maintained its speed, and it was three objects. Now, that's scientifically almost impossible unless it's got some type of motor or propulsion to keep it going. But I'm leery about believing in what I hear on the internet
Wow.
now because there's so many lies. The one guy that I sort of put my trust in, and that's Avi Loeb, because he's telling you the truth, and a lot of people are knocking him because he's telling the truth. Now, Michio Kaku, he's still got this AI avatar imitating him and saying things that he don't want to say and that he didn't say. But Avi Loeb went and got his own YouTube channel to get away from that AI stuff and trying to sue them. Yeah, it's interesting, but it's disappointing to know how they can feed you a lot of junk. And like you were saying earlier, Mama Kelly, you got to know some things in order to know what you're listening to because
Right.
they're trying to feed you a bunch of junk, you know.
Mhm.
But they're still following it with the bigger telescopes, but with the backyard telescopes, they can't see it because it's just too far out there. It's like trying to look at Saturn, you can see the planet, a little dot out there, but you can't really zoom in on it, but you can't tell me that they're not looking at it through the Webb telescope because if you can look into another galaxy, doggone well, you can tell us a little bit more about Three Eye Atlas. But it's hush hush. It's hush
Mhm.
hush, and it's a shame. But there are more to come. We will see within the next year to two. I had predicted this about 3 years ago, and it hasn't come, but we've seen the remnants. And I was happy when Three Eye Atlas came in, but they still can't say definitely that it was a snowball, that it was a comet. They're still leaning towards that the anomalies is stating that it's intelligence, and they know that, but they're just trying to keep us in the dark.
The
But we
cover
will
up is
find
still
out.
the cover up is still alive. Hey,
Yes.
Well,
so
they,
wanted to
oh,
go.
okay.
So I want to introduce Bernstein Griffin. She works with our transitional housing division with the tribes for all over the planet. No matter, I don't care where you are. If you considering setting up a transitional housing program, this woman knows how to run it and operate it, and we will help build it for you, and she will manage it for you. So you're interested in investing in that, you know how to get in touch with us, UAARNation.org. But Bernstein, tell us a little bit about your program and what you provide here in the Fort Myers area.
Hi, okay. Hi, like you said, I'm Bernstein Griffin. I'm the owner and founder of Living Promise LLC. Um, and what I provide is shared housing um, to independent individuals with income. The housing includes lights, water, Wi-Fi, and the washer and dryer. Basically, all of my units are 4 bedroom, 4 bath. Um, And the unit could be co-ed, it could be all males, it could be all females. And it could also occupy family to a limit of family, because all families, sometimes they get too big for a bedroom, for a bath. But I do offer housing to families also. And also people that are transitioning back into society. So, and you don't have to make 3 times the income and have a perfect credit score. So that's the reason why I started everything that I'm doing as far as housing.
So, a program, how they can get in touch with you, bro?
You can get in touch with me. The number is 239-328-2711, or you can email me at bernstein@livingpromisellc.com. Bernstein is B as in boy, ERN as in Nancy, IC as in cat, ENE at livingpromisellc.com. Or you can hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I'm on all the social media platforms.
So if you have land, number one, for us to develop, on our tribal, if you have tribal land, that helps the situation even more, because our objective is to get it exempt from paying taxes to the people that invaded our land, robbed, raped, and murdered our ancestors, and then they charging us taxes and rent. We ain't going for that no more, man. That time is over. But Bernstein she's got a beautiful program. She don't play around. She's serious about her business. And so if you're interested in getting involved, or if you're here in the Central Florida area, and if you're considering getting involved in our tribal program, this will be the first step, so we can put you through an orientation to talk about where we're headed. But Bernstein will let you know that if you're worthy, you can pass her test and you can join the tribe. So, any other parting words, Bernstein? No, okay. So you got the number. If you're here in Central Florida, and you're looking for some housing, give her a call. All right. So, all right. So, we had several videos that we wanted to play, and the electronics is not working out. We may save some of this for next week. And it has an effect on demonstrating to you just how serious our situation is right now. The things that are going over there in the war. This is it, folks. This is the final conflict. And I did post it about a dream I had the other night. It was very unusual. I've had some serious dreams in my lifetime, but this one was in a setting where all of the Aboriginal people was just coming together, and they was on the same accord, basically saying, we don't want this bad system anymore. And the positive thought was that we are resurrecting our people, and those systems just start falling apart. And it was a beautiful thing. And there were individuals that still want to hold on to the same old demonic system. They tried to disrupt that collective effort. But all of the people all over the world start tapping into this frequency. And to me, that was a reminder that all of this chaos that these demons are putting down over in the Middle East, all of this, they're doing this because their spell has been broken. We're no longer hypnotized to surviving, cutthroating, going to work 40 hours a week for people that don't appreciate you for a paycheck. When as a collective spiritual effort, we can come together and shut this down. All those threats of nuclear war, there is an advanced civilization or an advanced consciousness that will shut their nuclear warheads down anytime they want. So that so-called Samson option that little Israeli country is threatening with, they do not have the authority to shut this planet down. If we start sending a message to the Most High on a higher frequency of love and respect for each other, that we don't want that, that we want to build our own paradise. And that dream was real, and I felt the energy. And you have to hold on to your beliefs. You have to know that it's going to be implemented. And that was an experience I just had a few nights. So we're gonna let Mom Kelly go ahead and give your closing words on some things. You know, like I said, the videos are not in the position to play,
Right. Mhm.
but we're gonna go ahead and close out.
Okay. The video on Tataria is showing the very wealthy people exiting or getting onto the Titanic. Uh, yeah, as I lost my thought when I talked about the Huguenots, but the W.E.B. Du Bois was a Huguenot. He was an import from, France. His parents came here, and so they it was those Huguenots and those conquistadors who created those first so-called plantations. Now they gained a lot of wealth. In fact, some of the wealthiest people in this country, even today, are descendants of those same groups of melanated conquistadors and Moors. And I gotta turn this off. Excuse me. And they are they're still here, and they're still in power, and they live on gated communities, where if you were not, oh goodness, I'm on please, I'll call you back. I'm they still live here, still in power. They still control us as a people. A lot of, like I said before, they belong to sororities, fraternities, Masonic orders, and most of them are preachers. A lot of them are preachers. And so it's all about, those people, they still control, even on the very highest level. And so this is what we're dealing with. We have to free ourselves from those who have been put in charge of what we can do. All right. And as I said, they are the ones who have a political power, who have, in the court systems, everything like that. And on the police force, I mean, what we are hearing about many of the ICE agents, that they belong to foreign countries. They are here from foreign nations, and many of them may be sleeper cells. A lot of them are from what the IDF, is that the Israeli Defense Force?
Yes.
Yeah, IDF. Okay, many of them ICE agents over here. Yeah, they're IDF and other foreign nations. So we're in for a lot of changes, and our safety will be in the people we know. And people we actually of the same or similar mindset. It won't be just our families, it will be the families that we create.
So Mama Kelly, in this dream, there was a massive amount of us tuning into this high frequency. But I believe those people that you just spoke of, there was some resistance. They didn't want to let go. And they
Right.
were melanated people. I can
Yeah.
kind of see them out the corner of my eye, and they were trying to fight this collective effort for us to regain our planet. So they enjoy white supremacy. What do you think it will be the consequences of them participating and maintaining the satanic system?
They will also be destroyed. Okay, they're going to go down with their people. Now, it won't happen instantly. We're in for a battle, and I believe that to be so. But we can also elevate our consciousness so that we're in it, but we're not of it. As we're in this space, but we're not a part of this space. And as you had said before, putting that before the public, notice to the principal is notice to the agent, notice to the agent is notice to the principal. And we can put those out on every level, the city, the county, the state, and the defunct corporation. All of them are defunct because all corporations were dismantled by the Pope back in 2014 or 2013, 2014, when Obama was sent a letter by the Pope saying that, he was dismantling all corporations. But, as we can see, they are being dismantled, but it's a big battle, okay?
All right. So we're down in Fort Myers. We're celebrating with Living Promise transitional housing program. I don't think she wanted to add that on there, but that's what it is. And it's for people that are looking for housing that are in different programs. And if you need to find some affordable housing and rooms, you can call Miss Bernstein Griffin, and she will tighten you up. That telephone number is 239-328-2711. And if you're considering becoming a part of our tribal collective and you need some housing, this will be a good start. I will be meeting with the different members of the housing program to help start the orientation process with status correction, understanding how we're going to overcome this. I had a taste of it. Mom Kelly, I had a taste of to see how powerful that movement was. And even though it was just a few in the corner of my eyes, it was a few dark souls that was resistant. And we had to buck up once again, but we were the majority. And it was powerful.
Worldwide, we are the majority.
Absolutely.
Worldwide, we are the majority.
Absolutely.
And probably here in the US too, because everything they say is a lie.
Yeah, everything. In the church, people say it all the time. The devil is a lie, but they don't really apply it to reality. It's just something to say. The devil is a lie. Yes, and they have lied to you and the churches and the fraternities and the sororities. It's time for us to get up out of this matrix. So this has been the Straight Talk Morning Show. We had a lot of noise and things. This is a celebration down in Fort Myers. We got some barbecue. We're getting ready to go eat and listen to some good music. And hey, this is what it is. We will have it all together next week. We'll have some more videos. We'll be in a position to play them. But Mama Kelly, any closing words?
No, just that we have to be very, very cognizant of our environment, because there are these threats, and they are real, so tell our young people to stay out of all of these places where they're looking for you. Don't go there. Don't go there. but I gotta answer the phone now.
Okay, go ahead. We'll see you next week, Mama Kelly. This has been the
Okay.
Straight Talk Morning
All right.
Show on the Straight Talk Network. I'm Andre Hill, your host, and we will see you next week. Take care.